times we're going to find heat written within a reaction. We need to determine if heat is released or absorbed in order to determine whether this is an endothermic reaction or an exothermic reaction. So let's look at an example like this. What you need to remember for this, now, one, we can see heat. Heat is going to be either a number or the word heat in the reaction. So you can see it right there, that 24.1 kilojoules. It might also be in joules. Or it could, again, it could just be the word heat. And we have to remember how to read the symbol that is the arrow. That arrow is a symbol for produces, yields, or forms. So the way we can read this reaction is we've got some carbon monoxide, iron 3 oxide. Those two are going to mix together to produce iron, carbon dioxide, and that much heat. So in this reaction, where heat is a product, delta H is going to be, or heat is going to be released. And that is because it is produced. It is a product. It is made from this reaction. And so this is an exothermic reaction. And so delta H is negative. Sometimes we just have to put that sign on delta H to tell us the direction that the heat is moving. Since heat is being given off in this reaction, for an exothermic reaction, delta H would have to be a negative number. Let's look at it if heat is on the other side of the reaction. So here we can see heat is a reactant. We have this 176 kilojoules of heat. It could be in joules, it could just say the word heat. And again, if we remember what an arrow stands for, what this reaction is saying is that calcium carbonate has to be heated in order to break down into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So that means that heat is absorbed in this reaction. It is a reactant. It's going to make things happen. Now, that absorbed heat is going into breaking old bonds or something like that, not into raising the temperature. So this is actually going to feel cold if you were to touch it, because it would be absorbing the heat from your hand if you were to touch the reaction vessel. So this is an endothermic reaction. And delta H would need to be a positive number, because again, we use the sign to represent the direction that the heat is moving. So that's how you deal with delta H, or your heat being in a reaction, and how you decide whether it is an endothermic reaction or an exothermic